If you are a parent who has ever really wondered why my child is like an angel for their teacher, for their coaches, for their friends' parents, and then they come home and they're a complete brat, this podcast is for you. If your child is very challenging at home, but seems to never get in trouble when they're away from home, you have raised a very healthy, attached child. The reason why this is because kids know where they're safest. If they, in their home, know that they can be their worst self, they can yell at you and they can get really mad and they can throw fits and you're not going anywhere, you still love that child unconditionally, then this is the safe space that they are living in. They know that on their worst day, they can be true to how they feel internally and you're not going to go anywhere. If your child is one that goes out into the world and they respect authority and listen to rules, obey, don't push back, they get their work done at school, they're respectful of their friends' homes and their parents, that basically just means that you have taught them well. You have taught them how to handle life outside of your home and what's appropriate and what isn't. And of course, we teach them the same rules. I did with my kids. You're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to disrespect me. But because they feel safest in their home environment, if they do slip up, that's where it's going to be. So you're not going to get the child who goes out into school and acts up and gets in trouble all the time because you've done your job as a parent. Now, obviously, that's wonderful. If that's your child, hopefully you can be like, okay, I'm doing something right. Now, if it isn't your child, and what you find is that you do have an individual that really pushes the boundaries at home and also does the same in social environments outside of the home, you have a little more of a challenge on your hands. We teach other people how to treat us. So it does start at home. As a parent, if your child talks back to you, if they cop an attitude, if they do things that in your home are not acceptable, it's extremely important that you speak up and that you set the boundary and the rule and that there are consequences to that rule. You have to stay consistent with that for your kids to actually get that you're not joking. So sometimes it's that I'm going to count to 3. When your kids are little, you say 1, 2, and they're gonna, I don't know, I don't think she's serious. And you say 3, that consequence is there. You're not like, what'd I say? 1, 2, and keep saying, no. First time around. And I did this with my kids when they were little, and they did learn very quickly. If I get to 3, that consequence is happening. I don't care how busy I am, how much I have in my hands at the time. I'm going to stop what I'm doing, and you're going to get a consequence for not listening to me. It is so important that we keep control of our households with our kiddos. And this isn't because you want to be a drill sergeant. It's because that is what's best for the child. And when you do that, you create a space, again, where they are going to maybe push the boundary, but also know where that line is. If you've ever heard a kid say, I knew better, I knew I wouldn't do that, there's no way I would have gotten in a ton of trouble. You're doing something right. If you hear a kid that's like, I'm not supposed to do that, but it'll be fine, then you maybe haven't been great at holding your boundaries in the home. And then that child is then likely to go out into the world and think they can push those boundaries as well. What's unfortunate about that is that that's not really how the world works. And so the more they push that boundary out in their life outside of your home, the more likely they are to lose friends, for people not to like them, to get into trouble at school, to get fired from jobs and things like that. So when we're having really strict rules in our homes, we're doing it because we know that's what's going to be best for the kiddo as they grow up to learn to respect authority. Now, I will give you a little tip. My kids are 16 and 18, so I'm not going to act like they have not had attitudes from time to time. And that is very normal. So what I encourage my parents to say to their child when they get a little moody or they want to snap back at you is, listen, I understand that you're upset, and being upset is fine. There's nothing wrong with you being angry. You have a right to your feelings, but you're not going to be disrespectful. There's a difference between, I don't like what you just told me and it's making me mad and I'm not going to hang out with my friends and now this world sucks and I can't wait till I grow up, and you suck as a parent, I hate you and I can't wait to leave you. Very different, right? So the child who wants to be upset and like, that's not fair, all my friends get to do it, crying, go in their room, whatever, that's fine. But when you cross the line over into being disrespectful to me as your parent, there's going to be consequences to that. So the reason why this is important is, one, we don't want to shut down our kids' emotions. Growing up in a home, maybe more traditionally, where when you have feelings, your parents would get uncomfortable with it and they would shut them down. Like, there's no room for crying here. Stop your complaining. It's not going to happen. We're not talking about it anymore. That's not necessarily the healthiest way to manage your children. We want to provide an environment where they can come home and feel safe to express emotion, to be sad, to be mad, to be frustrated, to be scared, and you're not going to shut that down. The difference is allowing them to feel what they feel and then setting that line. And I said it repeatedly, more times than I can count. Listen, you can be upset. That's totally fine with me. You cannot be disrespectful. And there are also these children who get really upset and they're in a social environment. Let's say it's a holiday and they're just like bringing the mood down. They're upset. Everybody can tell they're upset. You're like, it's going to be fine. But your kid is upset and you don't want to invalidate that feeling. You also don't have to put up with like the aura that they throw out into the room around them when they are upset. So if your kid can't keep that feeling contained, then my recommendation is to say, listen, buddy, whatever your kid's name is, I realize you're upset, and again, that's totally fine. You have a right to your feelings. However, we are at a holiday right now, and there's family, and you're negatively affecting the room. So if you want to be upset, I'm going to ask that you go into another room or go to a bedroom for a little bit, chill out, calm down, and when you're ready to come back and be social, by all means, we would love to have you. That is not bad parenting. That is acknowledging your child's emotions, but also setting a boundary and like social etiquette. How uncomfortable are we when we go into rooms with other people and they're like pissy and you don't know why, and it's someone else's kid or it's the adult and everybody's kind of on edge? Like, no, we're not doing that to other people. So you're teaching your child, like, you're not invalidating them, but you're teaching them to take a step away when they're feeling, not their best, and give them that quiet space to recenter their brain and come back when they're ready, which is just a wonderful thing for us, one, to encourage our kids to do, but also to do ourselves. So I hope that this was helpful. I know raising kids is so challenging and every kid is different, but the biggest thing that I wanted to get across in this message today was, one, if your kid is well behaved in public, but maybe gives you a little bit more crap at home, you're doing a good job. And two, the most important thing you want to teach your kid is respect. Respect for you as authority, respect for others' authority, and respect for just human nature when they're out and around other people. We need to do better at this. There are so many people in this new generation coming that are just so disrespectful and so inconsiderate. And it might just be because we have slacked off as parents in really teaching our kids the importance of their behavior and how it affects other people and what's right and what isn't. So try to do your best to stay consistent with those things. And it's going to be best case scenario for your kid growing up, as well as always, it's going to be better for you as a parent. You're going to notice that it is real easy to just say, hey, that was disrespectful. If you do it again, there's going to be a punishment. Again, you can be upset, but you can't be disrespectful. And you repeat that till you're blue in the face, and you follow through with a consequence if they still disrespect you. And that's just good parenting. I really hope this was helpful for you. If you know anybody that struggles with these things, please feel free to share this with them. And as always, like and subscribe for future podcasts.